Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Introduction to Digital Advertising, How to Get Started and Do It Right. My name is Malini Krishna. I'm a senior business consultant here at Pursuit in our advisory services division. For those of you who are new to our programming, Pursuit is a community-focused alternative lender. Our goal is to ensure that our clients not only have access to the capital through our loan programs that we have, but also to the strategic guidance and business expertise they need to thrive and grow. I am very excited to be joined today with Erik, the President and CEO of Endorphin Digital Marketing. Endorphin develops strategies to increase visibility, improve communication, build brands, and generate businesses of all sizes. And Erik is personally a very close partner of Pursuit and has worked with numerous clients on improving their digital presence, enhancing brand awareness, digital advertising campaigns, and other e-commerce related activities. So welcome, Erik. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Malini. It's great to be here. I really appreciate you giving such a nice introduction and hosting this event today.
Great. You know, this is such a wide topic, Erik, and it's one that we get probably the most amount of questions on in our advisory services. And so we decided that instead of covering absolutely everything, because we would probably be here for 2 weeks, we'd really focus on a brief overview of where digital advertising fits into the digital marketing space. And really with that emphasis on how to improve your business accessibility online and viewership, as well as generating revenue online. We welcome any questions you have, so feel free to drop them in the questions box in the GoToWebinar panel. I will be monitoring that throughout and try to ask them as timely as possible. So we would really encourage questions. We want to make this as interactive as possible. I know a lot of people have emailed us privately saying, you know, we want to know more about like what we should do, how we should do it. And so we're really grateful that Erik, you could join us today. To kick things off, can you kind of it's been so integral to have digital marketing as part of all businesses in the last 2 years in particular, whether you're big or small. I was just wondering if you could sort of share some sort of core things that small businesses in particular should be thinking about to have a comprehensive digital marketing strategy and really improve their visibility.
Yeah, that's a great question, and you're absolutely right. As you know, we all know, you know, this last year and a half or so has been really challenging with the pandemic and social distancing and not being able to get out to events or you know, go meet with people, and so it's really been a challenge. And so a lot more people are focusing on the digital side of things. And as we all know, technology keeps developing. And so, you know, every business should be doing some level of advertising. And we'll talk more about this in terms of sort of the different types of advertising and sort of who you're targeting with your advertising. But, you know, every business should have some sort of marketing budget. And, you know, whatever that marketing budget is, you know, that would include everything, advertising and, you know, trade shows and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. But, you know, there's definitely a portion of your advertising budget that should go to digital advertising. And, you know, we all know that everybody's got a smartphone and they're on their computer and they're checking things online, you know, so it's just critical. And you know, people are gonna research you and your business, and they're going to look online. So and we all know this, right? So, you know, you've got to have a good website because that's, you know, the foundation of your branding and your marketing. You really should be on social media. You really should be doing some video advertising or video communications, you know, creating some videos because they're just, you know, they're so easy to create and they're very good at conveying a lot of information to people. And so you know, so email marketing is critical. You know, we don't necessarily like our email inboxes, you know, but email is very critical. So, you know, website, email marketing, social media, digital advertising, and the use of videos. So those are kind of the key pillars, I guess you might say, of a good digital marketing presence. And and you'll be able to reach a lot of people by using these tools and sort of using them together. So I hope that's kind of what you were looking for,
Yeah,
Malini. But
that's actually a good kind of overview, is that a lot of people have asked us in our advisory services department, like, where do I start? And the idea is that, everyone's online, right? Like, that's where people live, and that's where people really learn about who you are and what you are as a business. So you can't just sort of be very narrow in this space, right? So if you just have an email list and you don't have a website that they can actually get dynamic information from, you're missing some certain opportunities. We're talking about Google in particular today, right? So can you talk a little bit about like what Google ads are and why that's so relevant to this thing? And if you want to sort of move forward on our slides here.
okay, yeah. So that's a really good question, and I think that Google is the gigantic elephant in the room when it comes to digital advertising. I mean, it's just, their search engine is by far the most popular, and that's how people find things. There's obviously Bing, which is important as well, and Facebook and Instagram and some of those things as well. But that it's really important to have all these different tools. And I'm hesitating because you said something that was very interesting, but now I forgot what you said, and I wanted to address it. But I'm sure it'll come up again. So let me kind of go through. Let me kind of get started here, and we'll go through sort of digital advertising and Google in particular, and I'll show you and talk about both sort of digital advertising in general in terms of what makes good ads, how you create good ads, and whether they are shared, or posted on Google or Facebook or Bing or elsewhere. Just doing good advertising is one thing, and then I'll show you some things about Google in particular. And there's a lot of elements in here again that sort of all work together. And so, if you're just doing social media, that's great, but you can do better with the website and the email along with the social media, right? Or if you're just doing email or just have a website, the other tools are going to be valuable as well, and in a different kind of role, but they all sort of build upon each other, and that's where sort of an integrated marketing strategy is really important. So here, I'll just give you my sort of contact information and sort of who I am. As Malini said, we do a lot of, we fully focus on digital marketing, especially the really technical parts of it. Our firm is 15 years old, and we're based in upstate New York in Albany and Troy. So you can find out more about there. But again, we all know that Google is the search engine, right? I mean, they've definitely cornered the market. Again, there's Bing and some other things, but Google is just so critical, and it's so important to be on Google. And again, I'll talk about a couple of different types of ads in a minute, and we'll get through that. But the point is too that it is that Google ads work, and that's why it's so popular, and why companies continue to just hand over money to Google every week and every month, because their system really works well, and they gain traffic from it. People click on the ads. It really does work. And if if you're not taking advantage of that, you really are missing out on the good possibility of additional traffic to your website.
And and this is proof. We get this question a lot, like, are we bothering people by having ads?
Well, I wouldn't say that you are, because the idea, I understand that feeling, but at the same time, if you own a business, you're responsible for driving revenue, right? So you have to find new customers, and customers go to Google to find things, right? So they're looking for you, but they don't know you, right? They're looking for, how do I buy a car? Or I want to buy a car, or, who do I buy insurance from? Or, things like that. So they're looking for alternatives on Google. And that's exactly why it works so well, is because they're all going there looking for things. And then if your ad happens to pop up at the right time, which Google is very good at matching intention with their searches, then you're actually giving information to somebody that's looking for that information. And presumably you do a good job with whatever you are selling. And so then that's good for Google, it's good for the customer, and it's obviously good for you as the business owner. So, I definitely understand that feeling, Malini, about, people saying, well, I don't want to bother people. But at the same time, people need help, right? They're looking for help, solutions, they're looking for products, they're looking for, better ways to do things, or whatever. So, it's very useful for everybody involved. So again, a few more stats here showing that, kind of how good Google ads are and how useful they are. They're very good, especially for local searches, for local stores, local businesses, small businesses. They're really good at that because of the targeting. If you're a dry cleaners, for example, you really only want people within the next, within 15 miles maybe, or 10 miles, or whatever it is. You really only want to focus on that local, bunch of customers, because, people aren't going to drive more than that to get to a dry cleaners. So with Google Ads, you really can target it that finely, geographically, to just, spend money on ads that are going to be shown right around your neighborhood. So, so that's very important. And the thing I was going to say, now I remember, which, referring back to what Malini was talking about earlier, was that SEO, or search engine optimization, which is, basically the performance of your website, the SEO will actually affect the benefit, affect your ad performance, and vice versa. Your ad performance will actually affect your Google SEO performance. So, Google is really the center of the world when it comes to advertising, right? Because it's both the search and ads, and you getting traffic. I don't really care where my traffic comes from, as long as it comes from somewhere, right? As long as I get that traffic, and whether it comes from, an organic or natural search process on Google, or if it comes from an ad, I don't really care, but as long as I get that traffic. And so, again, here's where it starts to get a little complicated, is, having that good website, paying attention to the SEO with it, running some ads, doing email marketing so we can get clicks from the email to your website, doing good social media posts to get the link from social media back to your website. Google uses all of that data, all of those links and the traffic that's going from link to link, and it's rewarding the people that are doing well and doing it right, because again, it's a benefit for Google's customers, who are really the people who are searching for things, right? So So that is pretty important stuff to know, right? So just real quickly, sort of our agenda, we'll talk about, some more about digital ads and how they work, how to create, maintain, and manage ads, and then, some strategies in terms of how to do this well. And I do give a lot of resources in this presentation. So we will provide a copy of these slides because there's a couple of things in here I really do think that you're going to want to have.
Great.
So we've done that. So again, when we talk about digital advertising, we are talking about ads on search engines like Google and Bing. We are talking about ads on social media and other websites, and really any digital platform. So there's a lot of advertising types that are digital. And so, it's important to know your options, right? There's all these different things. And we'll get to the point where we're going to talk about which ones of these will be good depending on who you're trying to target. And again, we'll get to that in a minute. But there's all sorts of things like, there's search ads, there's display ads, there's shopping ads, video ads, ads in apps. So there's just a really wide array of advertising. And again, it's important to know that there's a lot of things there because the costs for you are going to be different, right? So PPC means pay per click advertising. So it means you're going to pay an advertiser a fee for each time an ad is actually clicked. Now, this is a really important concept because there's one particular type of ads I'm going to talk about in just a second that get shown quite often, but you don't even end up paying for anything unless somebody actually clicks it. So you get a lot of free advertising, and the free advertising is obviously fantastic, right? And that's for these people that are that already know you. We'll talk about that in a second. So we've talked about the benefits a little bit in terms of pay-per-click advertising or really the larger digital advertising. We can really target who we want to see our ads, and the better we can target our ads, the less it's going to cost us, right? Because if we have a $100 budget per month and we get the right kind of customers and they end up spending $1,000 a month at our company, well, that's fantastic, right? We've made 10 times our investment, so our ROI is 10 times. And that's kind of what we're looking for is as long as you can match the type of people you want with their need, and then you're only paying when they actually click and come back and buy something from you, that makes it tremendously worthwhile. Okay.
And the nice thing here is that this is very measurable. So people can actually see the direct correlation. I know a lot of the question I often ask is, I don't know what my marketing is doing for me. And this is an example of something where you can directly see the correlation.
Yeah. And that's what, where geeks like me come in handy, because we like looking at the data and trying to figure out, how well is this performing? How can we do better? How can we, make things, give you a better ROI? And so, there is a lot of data, and it's a little overwhelming sometimes for people that don't do this every day. It could be like looking at a financial spreadsheet, and if you never went to business school or studied that kind of thing, you kind of look at it and go, wow, I don't know what that means. but there's a few things to watch, and those are the things that we want to make sure that you're doing right, so you get the most value out of your budget. I don't know exactly if we're going to talk about the budget precisely, but the good thing with these kinds of ads is you can start with a really low budget. And this may be as low as typically with Google advertising, you're going to set a daily budget. So you might start off at like $5 a day or something like that. And the chances of you spending the $5 each day is probably somewhat remote if you have a very targeted group of people that you're trying to get at. So you may not even spend that, but $5 a day is what, $150 a month or something like that. So that's a pretty reasonable amount of money. And again, every company needs a marketing budget, and every company should be spending that budget every month. So that is really important. This is that type of ads that I was talking about. This should be, every single customer should be doing remarketing ads. So these are the ads that are shown to people that have already visited your website. Okay, so they've come to your website for a reason, and now you're going to show your name on other websites that as these people cruise around the internet, they're going to see your ads at other places. Why do I visited their website, now I keep seeing ads for them. Those are these ads. That's what these ads are, remarketing ads. So, again, presumably they visited your website for a reason. They're shopping for what you offer. You got them to your website, so they know your name. And now we want to just keep reminding them that, hey, we're still here. We still, would still like to, do business with you, whatever you want.
And these are separate from the organic ads. I just got a clarifying question, right? Those are different than okay.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you for saying that. So again, this is a different type of advertising. These are remarketing ads, as opposed to ads that are shown in a search engine or ads that are shown elsewhere. So these remarketing ads, like I said, they're very important. They're very useful, and these are the ads that I was referring to, that people that have visited your website, they will see your ads, say when they go to Home Depot, or the Home Depot website, or the whatever other websites on the Google display network, but you don't pay for it unless they click on it and go back to your website. So otherwise they're just seeing an ad for you, and it's free to you. And so it's really good for those people that know who you are because they visited your website, but we just want to keep our name around them, keep our name in front of them, so they keep remembering us over time. And that's what these ads are really good at. And so I really want to encourage people that we encourage everybody to use these. They're cheap, they're very effective, and they're even very easy to set up. So really good part of advertising. So here's a little bit more of just explaining sort of what they are. I've already kind of talked about that. So we'll talk a little bit now about Google search ads. So Google and Bing, Microsoft Bing is basically copied the Google website, in terms of this, the search results page. So it looks literally identical. But Google is kind of sneaky in this way, where you see that the paid ad shows up at the top, but there's a really tiny little image there that says ad. And that's the only difference that between their paid ad ads and the organic results. So a lot of people don't even know they're clicking on an ad. They just click at the thing at the top of the page, right, when they search for something, and they click on that. So whether that's good or bad, that's the way Google does it, and so they typically show between 1 and 3 ads at the top of a search results, and 1 to 3 ads at the bottom of the search results page. So it's almost half of the first page of results are ads, but we don't really think about that, and so people click on it, and again, that's really good for you as the advertiser. But again, just real quickly, but again, it's also your SEO is really important, because hopefully you're showing up here on this first page of the organic results as well. And wouldn't it be great if your ad shows up and then your website shows up right next to it? So that's what we really want to happen. Okay, so in a super simplified world, here's how Google Ads work. You target your audience, and you use your location and keywords to target that audience. Then you set a budget, and then you get your results really fast. The results literally you can see them literally happening as they happen. So it really that's another thing about Google Ads and some other digital ads as well, is that you see the results very quickly. And so that means you should watch those ads and the results, because you can then tailor them to make them work even better as you go. So you can learn from this process.
Erik, we have quite a few questions on just how often should you tweak this strategy? So like, do you let it set there for a week, a month, 6 months, 3 months? A lot of people have been asking about like the Google algorithm and how it changes all the time. So we're getting a couple questions on that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, it depends on the size of your advertising budget and how specific you're getting with your target. So if you have a very large budget, which presumably most of the companies here are probably small businesses, so that isn't relevant here. But if you have a very large budget and you're focusing, on a lot of people, or maybe you're focusing on the whole United States, you're going to want to watch your ad performance very closely, and even big advertising agencies, we're a small advertising agency, but a big advertising agency, they might watch their clients' performance every day or every week. But for smaller businesses like ours, maybe you're spending, $10 a day or $20 or $30 a day. You probably want to look at it every week or every other week to see how it's going. And, that doesn't mean you spend 5 hours looking at the data. It means you look at the data in, 5 minutes. And so, obviously, the more frequently you look at the data, the more frequently you will be able to learn what's working and what is not, and then you can start tweaking your ads. So, yeah, it does work pretty quickly. And again, if you have, a pretty significant budget, you really do want to pay attention to that. So, because it moves quickly, and that's a good thing. I referred to this earlier in some of our comments, where different ads, you target different ads for different kinds of people, right? So this, is the typical sort of sales funnel that probably most of you are familiar with. You got to get your customers up into the, awareness stage, so they know who you are. And then, you hopefully get them down to the interest stage, where they're like interested in your company and your products. And now they're starting to really evaluate, hey, I found this, plumber, this web designer, whatever it is, and I think they might be good. I may not have the need immediately, or I may not, be sold that you're the right company exactly. So I'm interested, but I'm not paying anything yet, right? And then there's some people then, they move down hopefully to the decision stage where, now they want a proposal, they want to meet you, they want a, consultation, whatever. So there's those kinds of people. And then after that, there's the actual sale, right? It's like, okay, we made the sale, so these guys are fully customers. Now we really want to focus on these people because they're probably going to come back, hopefully, right, to use us again. So we want to continue to stay in front of them so that we make sure that they do come back to us afterwards. So, that's the sort of the sales funnel is what people call it. And so you constantly want to, get people to the top of this funnel and push them down in the funnel. So, we have to do a lot of different things in this process. Obviously, first we have to, get people to know who we are, right, for the very top. Then we have to sort of convince them that we do good work, right? So that's where, pictures of our products, reviews, testimonials, case studies, that kind of stuff to educate them about, how good we are, how long we've been doing this. Maybe there are customers that are just like them that we can, tell them about and say, hey, we mow lawns just for company, for people like you, and we work in your neighborhood a lot, and blah, 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 right? And then, so there's a lot of that kind of thing. So that's a lot of the stuff that you want on your website too, is show your finished work. And then, again, there's lots of different ways to get people to get down to that interest and decision stage. So, maybe you offer some sort of, free trial, a demo, a free consultation, whatever it is, to get people to just talk to you and pick up the phone and call you or fill out a form or something like that, right? So this process is really important because the types of ads we create and distribute, we need to make sure we understand who we're targeting, both in terms of specific people, but as well as where are they in this sales process. So this is quite important. And again, you can use different kinds of ads to target all different kinds of people. And those remarketing ads, which I mentioned, those are probably best for sort of the action sale or maybe the decision stage, right? They're that's where they're very useful there. So that's an important thing to know. Here's just quickly, I'll give you a little bit of data in terms of running Google Ads. Average cost per click for ads, about $2.41. This may have been a year or two ago, so maybe it's $2.45 now, who knows. But that's roughly a cost. If you look at some more specific different type of industries, here's what you can find. There some ads are a little more expensive than others for various types of reasons. So at least you get some sense that there's there's a cost to each ad. But again, from your perspective as an advertiser, you want to think about the lifetime value of a customer. So if you have a lawn mowing service, it's not that $50 or $100 that you pay the person, or that person pays you once per lawn mowing, that you want to think about, right? Because then you're like, well, it doesn't really make sense to run a $5 ad if they're only getting, if I'm only getting, $40 or whatever it is. But if you keep that customer for 10 years, then your revenue is significantly higher, and the cost per the ad is still only $1.50 or $2 or whatever, right? So that's the way you want to think about it, is each customer is worth a heck of a lot more than the one-time cost that they are going to spend once with you, because they may, be repeat customers, and those are the ones that are truly valuable.
There's a couple questions, Erik, around something similar to this, is that a couple of folks have said that they are e-commerce businesses, so you actually transact on their website.
Yep.
Should they be spending more? And conversely, there's a couple of folks who are just like service providers, where you really do need to have like the one-on-one consultation, and you're not buying on their website. Should they be spending less?
Well, again, think about the lifetime value of your customer. You probably will keep depending on the business, right? They're all different, but you may keep a customer for 5 years or 10 years. And so what's that value to you, right? If they're going to buy things from you maybe weekly or monthly or something like that, or come back to you every year, you can spend more money, because you know that these people are going to be more valuable to you as customers. Whereas, if they come and buy something once from you, well, that is so the goal obviously is to get people to come back to you every time, and that's why so many companies do subscription services, right? So if you pay me $100 a month or whatever it is, and then they're going to do something for you regularly. But that is the kind of customer you really want to lock in, is how can you get people to buy from you regularly, right? And that's where, like, frequent flyer programs come in, frequent shopper programs. That's why Amazon Prime is such a genius move, because people are like, oh my God, I can pay $90 once and get free shipping on all my stuff. Well, Amazon doesn't care about that $90 that you're giving them. They want to know, they do know, because of their data, how many times you're likely to shop there, and that they're going to get a lot more in return for that $90.
And you and I have talked about this, even from a small business, they can sort of adopt some of that idea of like giving incentives to come back a second time, a third time, bundling the service so they come in multiple times. So you can kind of learn from the big guys and make it small as well.
Exactly. And this is where small businesses are good, are lucky, because small businesses are often localized businesses. And so we go shopping at the same stores pretty much every time, right? We pretty much go to our favorite restaurants time and time again. So some of these local businesses, you can take advantage of that knowledge and know, if I get a new customer to come in and, eat at my restaurant, I just get them in the door once, there's probably a 50-50 chance that they're going to come in many times, right? So, so that should sort of lead you towards the idea of spending more on advertising. And, the other thing with advertising is it's cumulative. So, you should be advertising, and you should be advertising every single month. Whatever your budget is, whatever you can handle, that's what you should do. And you should make sure you spend that budget each and every month. It's because it's that repetition that gets to people and gets into their memory. And so, there's that famous statistic from advertising, that it's like it takes 11 impressions for people to remember you, or something like that. Whatever the number is, doesn't matter. The principle is that the more people see you, the more people remember you, the more they will remember you, and the more they will come and shop at your store or use your service. So so the, it's the regularity of it is very important, and we want to consistently stay in front of our customers. Here's a couple of things to talk about. So specifically with Google, right? And again, Bing is very similar. It is, effective ads, you want to incorporate numbers if you can, give them specifics about, hey, here's a 20% off coupon for, your first visit on us, or something like that. Make sure you include, your sort of unique selling point. What is it that, your value is, besides just those products that they might be looking at. And use a call to action. We've got to get people to act today, to act now, if possible, because they're most likely to buy something when they see that ad. So we've got to kind of push them. It's that sort of urgency that, there's a whole psychological study of this in terms of, making things, people remember the most recent thing they've seen. They remember numbers. They will act in the face of scarcity, things like that. So, you got to kind of push people to buy something, right?
Can you just give one or two examples of what a call to action is?
So
like it could be purchased today, but it also could be like set up your email, right? Or sign up for this.
Exactly. In many cases, a sale is not necessarily what we need to happen today, because they may not remember us, or they may not have the need right now, right? So if we say, call or click today, well, maybe they don't need their lawn mowed today, or maybe they don't need, dental service today, or buy insurance today. But we do want to get them ready for this. And that's sort of where you might consider offering like a free consultation, or, a free checkup if you're a dentist, or, things like that, or coupons. You can, say, print this ad and bring it in and you'll save 20% with us, or things like that. So,
Great.
There are a lot of different ways you can get them to somehow move one step closer to becoming a repeat customer.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who have taken sales training, I remember, I had a boss that said, you don't have a customer until you sold them twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody buys from you once, they're not necessarily going to be a long-time customer, right? But if you can get them to buy something twice, there's a very good chance you're going to have a long-term customer, right? So, so again, you want to think about this, and you can use ads to build your email list. You can use ads to, have people call with questions, or, set up a consultation, or, if you're an insurance agent, you could say, hey, call us today and we'll give you a free review of your insurance. It's these kinds of things that, if somebody's going to come in and drive to your office with all their insurance policies and give you the chance to look at everything, that's really valuable, right? So that is just as good as a sale, because, people aren't going to just change agents rapidly, right? So there's this sales process, and you have to understand that sales process to see how can I, attack or approach people in each of these stages, and get them, working towards becoming a customer. So, so there's a lot that goes into it. So here's one of the slides that I added, Malini, because this is taken from a outline that we use when we're creating advertising campaigns for our clients. So it's got sort of the main elements of advertising, and it's specifically Google search ads and display ads. So you can see exactly what's needed, right? And we need, a website URL, an address, so that we can, where when they click on an ad, where do we want to take them, right? So that's that. Then there's the budget, start and end date, geographical location, where are we targeting these people, demographics, in terms of, we're looking for men, women, old people, young people, students, retirees, whatever. Audience groups. So again, we may have a group of customers, or specific types of customers that we want. And then we're gonna, the thing with Google is that's really helpful. And again, this is why people keep using them, is because they optimize your ads for you. Mm-hmm. So for example, in number 8 here, it says short and long headlines. So if you give them 5 headlines, right, and 5 descriptions, number 9, and then 5 images, number 10, they're going to sort of mix and match those descriptions and headlines and images in your ads, and figure out which of those combinations work best for your ad and get the most clicks, right? And they do that automatically, and so they're optimizing your ads for you. And again, this is why Google Ads works so well, is because you're right away when you set up an ad, you're already giving them several different variations, and then they're going to find the one that works automatically, right? So and there's a lot of this kind of automation that is available now, and it's really important for us to know this. So this is one type of automation that is really helpful, and again makes Google advertising so very valuable and worthwhile. So because this is a constant contact ad, I am going to show you really briefly in the next couple of slides how you attach your Google Ads account to Constant Contact, and then create and manage the ads through Constant Contact. Okay. But I'll go quickly through this. So again, you're going to use keywords in SEO or in search ads and display ads for when you want your ad to come up. Okay, so you select keywords, which is really important stuff. You can target your geographic range from where you are. And you can include specific cities or towns or zip codes and in a mile radius. And then this is sort of the main performance data that you will see. So it shows you sort of impressions, means how many times was your ad shown, clicks, how many times did people actually click on it, the click-through rate, meaning the number of clicks versus how many times it was shared, and then the total advertising cost that you spend. So you really want to look at the clicks and the click-through rate. So the whole, half the reason we're doing this is just to drive traffic to wherever we want to go. Obviously the impressions is important. We do want a lot of people to see this, but we want to go where the money is. So we want 3 clicks, and then that click-through rate. We want to increase those as much as possible. That's what we're mainly looking at. Okay. Well, I guess this is how you do it. So this Google is, and Facebook too, they for better or worse, they have very sophisticated advertising platforms because,
Mhm.
you know, giant company use them too. So it is a little bit overwhelming, but that's one of the real benefits of using, you know, doing your ads through like Constant Contact, because it kind of manages everything. But once you sort of attach it to your Constant Contact account, and you know, give it your all that stuff, confirm all this stuff, then and link your account, set your budget, review your ad, and then you're done, right? And then that's the results you're going to see. So, you know, again, this is sort of a Constant Contact presentation, so they have made it very simple for people to set up and run ads, you know, and this still works through the same process that we have just talked about.
And just for a point of reference for the folks that have asked, Constant Contact is another service that you could sign up for that sort of helps manage the whole process of lists and automation, right? So it's not in Google, just to confirm for the folks that were asking.
Yep. Yep. And it's not required. You can just sign up for a free Google AdWords account and do it straight from there. So if you're not a Constant Contact customer, that's fine too. So let's think about some ways to make you most successful. So there's different scenarios in terms of what you might want to achieve, right? So, you know, one obviously is a main thing is to, you know, drive business and sales, right? With our ads. So, you know, therefore we might have ads, you know, that are targeting or promoting specific products, right? Or food, for example, right? And then the question always that you should have in your mind is, in my ad, where do I want to send them if they click on the link in the ad? It may not be helpful to send them to your homepage of your website, right? Because if they get to your website, they're like, well, great, I really wanted to buy some, you know, in this case, I wanted to buy some ribs, and you're just sending me to the main website. You know, that's a pain. I don't want to, you know, that's not what I signed up for. So send them to, you know, a shopping page or a landing page, or, you know, something that specifically they can buy what you advertised, and buy it in as few clicks as possible. So, but really think about that. And I'm going to talk about landing pages in a minute. But there's some cases, right? You may not necessarily get people to buy something right now, but you know, another way to get them sort of a little bit further down the funnel is if you can get them to sign up for something, sign up for a newsletter, sign up for a you know, coupon or special offer, sign up for, you know, a free consultation or free review of things. So, you know, sign up forms like this, they really help, they really work. And if your email marketing or email communications are very good, then just growing your list is going to be very successful for your business, or growing your email list. So we really want to think about, you know, how do we keep growing our email list? And it's really worthwhile in terms of doing that. Another thing is landing pages. So if for example, we want to get people to, you know, in this case, here's an example of a landing page we use. You know, if you want a tour of Hootsuite, you know, we advertise that, and then we shoot them straight to this special landing page. And landing pages can work very, very well. And one of the main things about landing pages is the only choice that you're giving people in the landing page is to fill out your form to get something or leave the page, right? There's no other like navigation on this page. And so that's what makes this a landing page, is that there's no other navigation on the page. The only thing people are looking at is, do I want what they're offering bad enough to fill out that form and give them my sign up and my contact information? That's the calculation you are putting in front of people when you're using landing pages like this. There's a couple of tips here. Using videos on landing pages can increase conversions by 80% or more. Again, we talked about video briefly and how useful and important it is to conveying information. Again, we're not necessarily trying to sell people anything at the moment. We just want to show them, hey, here's what you'll get. We can help you do this, and we can, here's the next step, kind of thing. There's a couple of other interesting statistics about using video in your marketing. We have a lot more data on this, but the one that kills me is just companies that use video marketing grow 49% faster year over year than companies that don't. If I see a statistic like that, I would be stupid not to use video marketing, right? You're going to grow faster if you use video marketing. That's just a fact. So use it, right? And it works on landing pages, it works on social, it works on YouTube, all that sort of stuff. Video content generates more engagement from followers than text or picture content, right? So again, it helps them move a little bit further along that sales process. And 90% of customers find a video helpful in the decision-making process. So anyway, it's video is critical. It's absolutely critical these days to use. I'll tell you, there's this thing called Unbound. So you see the logo at the bottom there. They have a free landing page building tool that you can use if you sign up for an account. And that's how we built that page to the right there. It's not a page on our website because we don't want people to have all these navigation choices. We're purposely giving them only one choice. You either fill out the form or you leave the page. That's it. So Unbounce is a great tool, and there's a link there to that. Again, going back, I said this before, SEO performance affects ad performance, right? Google owns the search engine and they own the ad platform. They want you to keep spending on their ad platform so they make money, so they can give their search platform for free. So they want to make that search platform perform as well as possible so you keep advertising with it. So they're going to do everything they can to help you be successful. So SEO is pretty complicated for your website here, but Google Analytics is a tremendous tool. It's a free tool, and it shows you what's happening on your website. And it again is pretty complicated. There's a lot of data on there, but if you go down here on the left side menu, there's a thing called behavior, and this is the overview report. And this shows you the critical data that you need, and the data is on the right there. And so that shows you how successful your website is performing. So the link at the bottom goes to an SEO starter guide from Google. So they're obviously going to tell you the truth, and it's very useful. So, if you're not paying attention to your SEO, that's something you really want to work on, and that's going to help your ads run better. Okay. So again, Google Ads work for you. I realize we're right at 11, so I'm just about done. Google Ads work for you, and Google, again, they want you to be successful, so they're going to help you. They actually call you from Google to help you with their ads sometimes. So they really want you to be successful, and that's really important. So
Erik,
here's just a couple of things.
you've
What's
given
that?
us you've given us so much information. I do have a couple questions because I just know we're at the 1 hour point,
Yep.
and I wanted to make sure that some of my audience questions did get answered before
Yep.
we let go. You've brought together so many different pieces. There's sort of some kind of policy questions that people have had. A couple of people have asked, do you think some of the restrictions that we are anticipating in Google are really going to change that? And should you be prepared for that? Like, internet privacy laws or limits on Google or things like that. Is there anything that they should be considering now?
Well, again, if you focus on those main pillars of digital marketing, website, social media, email, videos, you focus on those, and you will build your reputation online with Google and Bing and those kinds of things. So focus on doing those things well and keep driving traffic back to your website. And those activities will help you no matter what happens to Google or Bing or any of these search engines or any of the changes in terms of the use of cookies and data privacy and all that sort of stuff. So things will change, but as they always do in technology, but doing well and continuing to drive traffic to your website through multiple different ways are all important, and those are still going to be important going forward. Okay.
So it seems like the key takeaway here is that Google Ads is a channel to really build out your integrated market platform. It's not the only way, but it's, if you have strong content on your website and calls to action on your website, Google can be a way to generate some interest in traffic. But even if things change, it shouldn't change your core integrated marketing sort of plan, right?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And you do a better job with letting Google know who you are by having a good website, by explaining on your website who you are, what you do, who your customers are, the services, reviews and testimonials and videos and you continuing to drive traffic to your website to show that people are finding value in it. And Google and Bing, they have, they want to know which sites are good and which are not so good because they make all their money by driving traffic to sites that are good. That's going to give the user of their search engine a good value for the use of the search engine. So there's nothing to worry about for the time being, and perhaps even in the longer run, because that's always going to be a need. And so just focus on that.
Great. Well, I'm really mindful of time, and I know we've covered a lot of ground in this last hour. I think, we really are grateful that you're going to be sharing the slides and some of the tips here. A couple people asked for some really good resources. They will be available. We have both the recording and the slides available for today's webinar, but we really encourage you to continue to look and monitor Google, right? Like that's the other thing you've shared with us and a lot of our clients is that they are pretty transparent about what they're doing in terms of Google AdWords and things like that and supporting that. Like it's in their interest to make that work. So don't feel like you're all alone and all lost, even if you are, there's a couple of folks on here that asked about as a startup, is this something I should be considering? The answer is yes, and you can get that information even if this is the first day your company is open. So I want to thank you, Erik. Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that we covered? Or I know that we had a lot of information.
No, I think this is pretty comprehensive, and I know it's it's a lot of material, but feel free. I've given you all my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to call or email, and we're happy to answer questions for people as always. And
I know, Erik, you've written a lot of content even on pursuitlending.com on some of our core marketing topics. So, even if there's like one area that you want to focus on, you should definitely look there and give him a call if you need anything. But I want to thank you. I know a lot of people have asked us for something about what is digital advertising, and so many of our small businesses, both in the Pursuit portfolio and the people we talk to day to day, have really been working on their websites and making sure their digital presence is robust, as well as their social media. So we really wanted to highlight a tool that can help leverage all of those assets that you've spent all the last 2 years really building out. So thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. And if you have any questions for us, we continue to ask you to reach out to us at pursuitlending.com. We're happy to connect you with Erik if you didn't get his contact information, and we hope to have him back for more digital marketing topics in the future. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Malini, and everybody else, and hope this was valuable, and look forward to the next time.
Great. Thanks, everyone.